want to do now is get into our option-based run game. But before we do that, I think the most important piece is to understand the blocking schemes. How do we teach our offensive line who to block, when to block, and where to block? And I don't think any playbook would be complete without talking about the run blocking scheme. So that's where we're going to begin today, with the run blocking scheme in the pistol spread option. What we have is we have a very basic scheme set up to block any front. Our rules don't change. Those of you that have been wing T coaches in the past, you know you've got your rules of gap, backer, safety, etc., etc., etc. We've used GOO and GOB. We come up with all sorts of crazy names as coaches to teach our kids. Well, what we've done is we've come up with a system to make it so simple, so elementary, it sounds almost insulting to coaches to hear it. But we run it at the Pee-wee level, we run it at the college level. We don't change. It's a simple system. Let me start with what those are. First of all, we have two rules: covered or uncovered. If you are covered, that means that you have an immediate threat to your body. So what I want to do is I want to start with the covered explanation and tell you what that means. If a lineman is covered, he has an immediate threat from his head up to play side gap on his body. He feels as if he is covered. He has got someone on his person that he needs to block. He can reach out and touch that defensive lineman. He is covered. It does not always have to be a defensive lineman. It may be a safety up on a blitz showing his blitz. It may be a linebacker showing blitz. If you can reach out and touch the defender, you are considered covered. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to talk about what that means. Now, we have progressed, and we'll get into as we get into our zone videos and things like that. I want to teach you the basic scheme first and then talk about what we do to double team. So let's look at this middle example where we have a guard with a head-up defensive lineman. He has a head-up defensive lineman. His job is to block the play side number of that defensive lineman. In this particular example, we are going to be blocking number 64. If we are running the play to the right, which it says on our arrow, the play direction is to the right, his job is to block that defender's play side number. So if the play is to the right, he will be blocking that defender's number 4. And what that is basically is a way of saying, a fancy way of saying that we want you to block that defender, put your head in the hole. All right, but guys, I've worked with youth, I've worked with kids long enough, 15 years, to know that if you tell a kid to put his head in the hole, he will literally put his head in the hole. He will put his head down, and then you lost all sense of what you're trying to teach. So what we do is we want to take your opposite hand and put it on that play side number. Okay? So let's take a look at what that means. He is going to block the 4 in this particular case. Down over here, we've got an inside shade threat. All right? What that means is we've got number 64 here as an inside shade. What we want to do is we want to block the 4 still, but we're going to have to use a different step, which I'm going to get into in a minute. You're going to have to take a different step, a different angle, to be able to block that 4. You're still covered, you still want to block the play side number, but you now have to take a different angle to be able to block the 4. All right, let's go on to our uncovered. Uncovered means you have no immediate threat to your body. There is no defensive lineman there. There's no one in a gap that you can reach out and touch. There's no linebacker showing blitz. You're basically sitting there with nobody to block. Well, we know that's not the case. So if we are uncovered, meaning that you have a read man on you, if we, in our offensive option scheme, we leave our read man alone. We don't touch him. There's always someone in our scheme that we don't block. Okay? So that would be considered uncovered because you're covered by a read man. This particular case, our center is uncovered. He has no threat to his immediate body. So what he will do is he will take his steps. He will protect what we call a play side gap. So once again, in this particular case, we've got play side gap where we're going to protect to the right. He's going to protect the A gap first. His second job is to look for any fat guys, as we call them, or defensive linemen. And no, I don't want them running to the sidelines and blocking me, even though I'm fat. We teach that it's actually defensive players. So what we want to do is we want to protect that play side gap first and work our way up to a defensive lineman. So let's just draw up number 55 up there. We want to work our way play side gap to the first fat guy and then work our way to second level. All right? And that's the progression that we teach. If you're uncovered, protect your play side gap. Block the first fat guy you see, work your way up to second level. So essentially what we've done is we have created double teams. So what I'd like to do, knowing those two rules, covered or uncovered, I want to just go through a couple of fronts with you that you're going to see and talk about how to block those fronts. And I can promise you folks that when you're done with this, you will be able to block anything on this planet that the defense can throw out at you. Any front known to man. All right, what I want to do is get into our zone play. And this is really the foundation of our offense. We base everything on our zone scheme. All right, so the first play that we teach when the year starts out is our zone right and zone left concept. All right, so what I want to do is run it against a basic 4-2. This is what we see a lot of, especially at the high school level we got this. At the collegiate level it changes a little bit. But let's start out with a 4-2, which is the old traditional 4-4 stack. All right, what we want to do is, if you notice on the play up here at the top, we're going to run zone right. So that means the direction of the play is right. Now, if you've watched the earlier part of the video, you understand our blocking scheme. So this shouldn't be a difficult concept for our kids to catch on. So let's go through that very quickly. Is he covered? Yes. He will block play side number. Is he covered? Yes. Play side number. Is our center covered? In this case, no. He is uncovered. Play side gap. First fat guy. Double team up to linebacker. Okay? Is our guard covered? Yes. His job? Play side number. Is our tackle covered? No, because we are using this as the read man. Now, Coach, how do I know who the read man is? Very simple rules for us. When we run our zone play, what we're going to do is we're going to leave the end man on the line of scrimmage unblocked to the back side of the play. Okay? So if the call is zone right, which it is in this case, we will leave the end man on the line of scrimmage to the left unblocked. So we look down, we look through, the end man on the line of scrimmage is here. That is our read. So one of the first techniques that we teach our kids from day one is we want them to identify the read. We will actually point to the read at some point and say, who's the read? And we all point to him. That way we all know, we've all communicated who the read man is. Okay? So in this case, it's the EMOLs, or the end man on the line of scrimmage as we call them. Okay? The tackle is covered by the EMOLs. The tackle is covered by the read man. Therefore, he is uncovered responsibilities. He's going to go play side gap, double team the first fat guy, and work his way up to second level. What we've done is we've created ourselves a zone concept without using the actual zone bucket steps and zone rules. All right, the next progression in our play. What we want to do is we want to take the halfback. He's going to bend ever so slightly off of the midline and bend back toward the B gap where we want him to run the football. All right? He's going to just take a 45-degree step to his left and bend back across the quarterback. All right? Next in the progression, our quarterback takes midline footwork. And what I mean by midline footwork is we want him to step off the midline. He will open up facing the read. His eyes will face the read. Okay? So what he's going to do is take a step off the midline and face the read. And we'll get into the video in just a few minutes about how to get through the mesh point and the option pieces of the puzzle. Okay? He is going to read the backside end. He will turn and face him, and he'll mesh right here with the halfback. And that is where our read takes place. What we will then do is read this defensive end. Okay? If the defensive end comes down the line of scrimmage to make a tackle on our halfback, our quarterback will pull it. If the defensive end sits still, if the defensive end comes up field, if the defensive end does anything but chase down the line of scrimmage, then our quarterback will give the ball to the halfback all the time. And that's where our zone read principles come in. How do I teach that to our quarterbacks? All right, what we teach our quarterbacks is your running back going to get tackled? Yes or no? All right, and we'll show some film in just a few minutes on this zone play. Is your running back going to get tackled? Yes or no? If the running back is being threatened by that defensive end, if he's coming down here like he's got some bad intentions, then you will pull the football. Otherwise, I don't care what he does, that he could do jumping jacks, you're going to give the ball to the running back. We call it give to live. Coach Robbins, our head coach here at Concordia, came up with that slogan. You give the ball to make sure you're not getting popped in the mouth by that big slobbering defensive end. All right, so we're going to give 90% of the time. The only time that we will pull it is when that end comes down with cruel intentions, as we call it. Okay? Next in our progression, what we have is a secondary read. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to take you in this film to another piece of our puzzle, which we call our count system. The film, the different ways that you can run midline, different ways that we line up in our formations to do it. We have a wing here and a stack formation. So it's essentially trips. We've gone stack with a red. So in our huddle call, this is stack red, midline right. All right, if we look at the first two or wider, we're going to identify this young man here as our read key. Our tackle is covered, he kicks out. And what we do with our wing is kind of a neat little way to change it up. We will actually insert him into the hole, so if our quarterback does pull, he can follow the wing or he can stay outside. And the only thing we're missing on this particular play is a block from our receiver, and we take it to the distance. What we have here is our defensive tackle is going to see the midline. He's actually going to sit and he's going to take away the running back. Our quarterback will pull it, and without a block from the edge, we would have scored. So let's take a look and see how this looks on film. You can see the end took away the running back. Our quarterback pulls it on the edge, and we get ourselves a good play. All right, so that's really what it comes down to with the midline, is being patient, understanding that your quarterback is probably going to be the runner in this, especially out of the pistol, because you're coming down so fast and so quick. The defensive tackles all want to be a part of that. They come down and take away the running back. Your quarterback pulls and goes up into the hole, or in this particular case, he was able to stretch it outside. All right, the final play that I want to present to you today in the option series is our trap play. As I mentioned, this is our option series, so everything we do is a triple option based play, and trap is no exception. This is a triple option trap, as we call it. Some people call it trap option as a separate play. Ours is all one play. It's all read on triple option base. All right, so what I'm going to do is pull up this 3 technique again. We like to trap this young man. All right, we're going to trap the same rules we did with midline. We're going to trap the first 2 or wider to the play side. So if you look at the top here, we're in trap right versus a 4-2 with a 3 and a 1 technique. We want to trap right into that tackle. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to first draw up our trap rule. Our trap rule, our guard will pull and kick out. Okay, to keep things as simple as we can for our kids, we made what we call a Ghostbusters call. We said, if you need help, who are you going to call? And I know I'm dating myself. The Ghostbusters movies were decades ago at this point, but the kids all remember it, believe it or not. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. So when we call trap, our center, our guards know what Ghostbusters mean. All right? And what Ghostbusters mean is really simple. If the guard that is supposed to pull is covered, he says, I need help. So he calls Ghostbusters. All right? He is covered by the nose guard in this case. So our pulling guard will say, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters. Our center will then check back and help on the call. And that's where we get the Ghostbusters call from. As I said, I'm dating myself, but I still love that movie. All right, so what we've done on trap now is our guard is going to pull and kick out the trap guy. He makes a Ghostbusters call and tells that center to go back and check back on the nose. Everyone else has the same responsibilities that they did previously. All right, we still have a 3 count. 1, 2, and 3. That means we still need a motion. So we're going to motion across. All right, we've got our bubble here. We've got him on number 3. His job is to crack alley. We're still good on that. Nothing has changed. Everyone else has the same responsibilities on trap. The only exception would be our center and guard on Ghostbusters. So his job, he is covered. He will block play side number. Okay? The guard is not covered. Why not? Because that is our trap player. We don't block the trap player just like we don't block our read player. So on trap, he has no need to block this guy. He's going to release under and work his way to second level. So play side gap, first fat guy, second level. Same rules apply as uncovered. Okay? His job, he is covered by the read man, which once again tells us he is uncovered. So his job is play side gap, first fat guy, up to linebacker. Okay? Our trap hits right down the midline, just like our zone and midline and everything else. The exception being our halfback takes his path and follows the pulling guard's butt to the promised land, as we call it. So what we've essentially done here is we've made ourselves a wall with our blockers. We've come up underneath the trap, and our guard slams the door. And that's how we teach the trap door concept. Okay? He makes a Ghostbusters call. We've built this wall here. We slam the door shut with our guard, and we've got ourselves a trap path. Now, the play is not over. Our quarterback opens up just like he did on zone, and he reads the backside end. A lot of backside ends want to get nosy and get themselves into the play here and make a play on trap. We want that to happen. If he comes down and he's going to tackle our running back, same rules apply as they did on zone. Our quarterback will pull the football, and we've got ourselves triple option again. based on what our secondary player does. So what we've done here is we've built a triple option right off of the trap play, and nothing has changed for us. All the rules apply. The only exception to the rule is the Ghostbusters call. If you need help, you call Ghostbusters and you get yourself a check back on trap. Okay? This case, we don't need Ghostbusters. We don't need to call anybody. I don't need help. I got it. So what we do here is we just follow our rules. Our guard can pull and trap without any help. Why? Because he's not covered. There's no one there for him to worry about. So he doesn't have to make a Ghostbusters call. He just runs his play as if it was a normal play for him. So he's going to pull and kick. All right? Our tackle can no longer block that man because he's the read man. So he goes underneath to linebacker. His job, same thing. He can't block him. He can't take the play side gap. So he's going to double team the nose up to Mike. Center is covered, play side number. And there's our wall. We've built a wall with 3 gentlemen, 1, 2, and 3. All right, our backside tackle in this case is covered. He's going to block play side number. Okay, we're going to read the backside end again, just like we have done. Halfback goes up the hole, cuts back off the trap. Once again, build the wall, slam the door shut, and follow up in the path. Quarterback reads the end. Okay, once again, we make our count. In this case, it's only a 2 count. So we don't need a motion. He bubbles out, he does the push crack, and we've got ourselves a triple option again. Okay? If the end crashes to take away trap, quarterback will pull, we read the corner, and we've got triple option based on the trap. So what we've done now is we've built an effective way of changing it up. All right, this play looks for all practical purposes like zone. This play looks for all practical purposes like veer and option and everything we've done so far. Nothing's really changed. It's been a couple of minor tweaks. But the difference is now you've got a pulling guard that you can follow and get up into that hole and make your play. So trap is a very, very effective play. I mentioned doing it off a jet look. We do that at times as well, excuse me. We will bring our jet motion across. All right. He fakes as if he has the ball and runs out to the flat. Doesn't change his responsibility. He's still the 3rd guy on the option. He still has crack alley responsibilities. He still has push crack. Okay? What we have here, covered. He's still pulling. He's still covered. We build our wall. And we make our trap. Okay? Nothing changes. It just gives us a nice little jet fake. And it draws the attention of the defense. And then we trap up underneath the jet. So there's a lot of different ways that you can put this together with motions and formations and shifts and things. But the key is that we're going to trap the 2 or wider, and we're also going to leave the backside end man on the line of scrimmage alone for our triple option read. So in this case, we're still leaving a couple of people unblocked, but the trap man will come and take care of that. And that's what's really nice about this trap is it's almost a misdirection in a way. And there's other ways that you can do it. We've got quarterback trap where we put our halfback out into the flats and we just run quarterback trap. All right, if we were to move our halfback out, nothing changes. We'll cross him off there so he doesn't exist. We'll put him out here just for fun. All right, now we've got quarterback trap. Same play, same rules. We're going to trap that tackle. We're going to build the wall here to backside will. He's still got that. Now what we'll do is we'll step back, follow the pulling guard, and we have ourselves a quarterback trap. So there's a lot of variations that you can do, a lot of things you can change. You can do a quarterback trap out of our basic look. Okay? What we're going to do is show a veer look to the defense. So we're going to have our halfback pretend that he's running veer. The quarterback opens up to veer. We pull and kick. We build our wall. And now what we have is our quarterback opening up to veer, giving a ball fake, and following the pulling guard on trap. So those are a couple of variations that you can use for trap. There's some 2-back stuff you can get into. I want to show you just a couple of real quick clips on trap, and we'll go into the film and talk about that. All right, what I want to show you is a couple of trap clips that we have here. This one was based out of our spread look. We're going to trap to our left. So we're going to be trapping this young man, a 2 technique or wider. He actually does a great job of spilling the trap in this particular play, but our running back has good vision and cuts off of the trap block, and we score on this. So let's take a look at what the trap looks like. Once again, it's a simple scheme. We're going to actually motion away to trips again because we knew we'd get the look that we wanted. You see us motion to trips, Okay, we got a blitz off the edge in this case, so we knew we'd be able to trap it because he's coming up and taking himself out of the play. So what we do is you can see our guard is pulling to trap the 2 technique. We get a good read by our running back, and we're up into the end zone. All right, good block on the edge that time by our receiver, which makes all the difference, as we've talked about in previous clips. Let's take a look at it from the end zone. Okay, if we pause it here, our 3 technique is right here behind the linebacker. That's our trap. All right, he should be kicking out. He should be coming up underneath the linebackers. We need a Ghostbusters call here because our guard is leaving and he's covered. So he should be making a Ghostbusters call to our center. And we're reading the backside end, and we are good to go on trap. So let's take a look. Quarterback's reading the backside end. That's a give read all day. You can see this guy does a nice job of spilling the trap. The running back could have been patient and popped it up in the hole. That would have been fine with us. But he actually makes a great vision cut here and gets up into this hole, and we've got ourselves a touchdown. What I really like about it is the misdirection piece of it. You know, if we talked about having the triple option look all the time, where we're bringing motions over and bubbling over, what you'll see with the blitzing safety on this one is he actually takes himself completely out of the play because he sees the misdirection and he follows the misdirection. So let me cue that up for just a second here and show you what I'm talking about from the end zone view with the safety. This young man here takes himself completely out of the play. Once again, this is game planning for us. We knew that if we motioned across, that this gentleman here was going to come off the edge, and we knew that he would take himself completely out of the play. We wouldn't have to block him. So that's what we did on this. All right, we actually let him go upfield, but he ends up chasing the motion, and the running back ends up cutting right back behind where he used to be. So it's another good scheme, and another good way that we can use the trap to our advantage. Let's take one more look here from the end zone view and watch our safety take himself out of the play. Coming off the blitz, we run right up underneath him. Our running back's appearing right here, and we have ourselves a touchdown. All right, let's take a look at one more clip. It's not a big play, but it's a 6 to 8 yard gainer, and that's all we ask for. Okay, you can see our motion going across. All right, we're reading the backside end. That's a give read. Our guard is pulled and kicked, and we get a nice little seam, 5 or 6 yards. Once again, we don't have to go the distance. We just want to make sure we're going to move the chains. A real good look at the trap there. Very well executed. The kids did a nice job on that. Okay, end zone look. Once again, we're going to trap this 3 technique. Okay, we have a real nice trap here. The hole is there. You can see it's a gaping hole. We get linebacker blocked as well from backside. Nice job by our offensive line. Great job by the running back to get his head down and get some yardage. So that's a good look at the trap play. As I said, there's so many ways you can run it, from quarterback traps to jet motion traps and all the different things that you want to throw in formation and scheme-wise. But I really think that the trap is a great part of your arsenal to complement the zone and the veer and the triple option piece of it.